Hey everyone. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you all tuning in to the audio mixing and more YoloLiv show this week. My name is Anthony Barocas. I'm here for YoloLiv. We are using YoloLiv technology. I'm using the YoloBox, which will be doing the multi-camera switching, the pre-show titles, the countdown timer, the music that played with it, all the graphic overlays, the comments, the recording, the multi-destination streaming, all in the palm of your hand. Why not connect the microphone directly? Well, you can. As you saw, I did right here. I have this microphone. It is a Neewer, what is it? CM14. And it is plugged into the microphone jack, and it is, I guess, powered by the microphone jack because there's no power in this microphone. So this works right here. I can use this as a microphone. We heard it earlier in today's show. This microphone matching the timing of the microphone going into my main camera. And so you can plug your microphone directly into here. You can plug your audio mixer directly into here. You can plug your wireless receiver directly into here. And I have done that. If you go back into the live shows, I've been live on location, and that's what I would do. I would use, a wireless, and I have them here just to demo this, wireless microphone, and you just take the receiver and you plug the cable out of here directly into the YoloBox, and you're good to go. So there's no reason why not, because the YoloBox has its own built-in audio mixer. Then you could sit there and say, how loud are my playback clips? How loud is the camera audio? Well, let me adjust the microphone level to match, and you can hear it all. So that's the beauty of the built-in audio mixers, is that you don't have to use an external mixer unless you go past the capabilities of the built-in mixer, or you need additional features, like I want to be able to pan left and right. I want to be able to adjust the EQ. Yeah, this is a very basic audio mixer. You have levels. There's no panning. There's no EQ on these channels. None of that is on here. There's no limiter. There's no noise gate. You basically just have the ability to adjust levels. For 80 to 90% of the people, that's good enough. But for those who need finer control, more critical control, use an external mixer and then feed it into here and just let it pass through, and you'll be good to go. What is the best audio mixing to use with YoloBox Pro? The one that works for you. It's kind of like the best camera question. The best audio mixing. If you're just doing one microphone like I'm doing, and you remember to turn it on before you start your pre-show, the YoloBox, my built-in mixer, is the best audio mixing because you don't have to bring another product. It just works. If you are doing 17 microphones from a panel event, that's more than the YoloBox can do. So the best one would be something that could do 17 microphones. So what's the best is the right one that does what you need it to do. It depends on what you want to do. It's like asking what the right tool is for a screw, probably a screwdriver. But what's the right tool for a hex nut, a hex wrench? So different tools for different tasks. LCast Live says, I have the YoloBox Pro. Use only one time when I start first live stream. It's all good, but after 30 minutes, no audio on the headphone. Oh, that's interesting. It should not do that. I'll just let you know, it should not do that. But do understand that if you have audio follows video going, the original YoloBox is not an audio mixer, it's an audio selector. So if you have two cameras and you have your audio going into one camera and you switch to the other camera and you have audio follows video enabled, AFV, I'm going to show you that in a second. Let's put this on the audio mixer. Let's go to the Pro. Actually, let me go to the overhead. And here, if you have audio follows video, it's disabled by default on the devices. If you have this on, and if you switch to something else, like if I switch to USB, it's going to turn that audio off automatically. And that is going to mean you have no audio. So that is why the change was made to leave this off, so that whatever you select as your audio, no matter what you turn to, is going to stay on. So make sure that you have audio follows video off, and if your audio meters are moving, then you've got audio going through. So that is what I usually find is the most often cases. That second little button trips people up, and I will admit to having a couple shows where I forgot to turn that off, and I switched to my overhead camera, this one right here, and next thing you know, so a bunch of us asked for this to be turned off. YoloLiv listened. They changed the software, so this it defaults to off. But we will get to we'll talk about this later, where there are times when you might actually want audio follows video to be on. There are different tools for different tasks. I use an audio cable to my mixer, and I send the audio through the HDMI cable. That's what I do too. What I do is I have a microphone right here on the table in front of me. I could tap it. And this microphone goes directly into my camera. And I do that because if I wanted to do an ISO record in the camera, it has the audio. Secondly, because it goes directly into the camera, it's in time with the camera where the video comes in. And if you're new to the YoloBox can switch multiple cameras seamlessly. It can dissolve, it can do cool effects, wipes, and things like that. The way it can do that with cameras that aren't synced up is that it rips the signal apart, restarts the video signal based on an internal clock. That takes time. So this ripping the video signal apart and adjusting it so all the cameras start at exactly the same time takes a frame or two in the YoloBox. Well, there's an audio buffer built in so that it knows how long this is going to take, and it holds the video, holds the audio back to match, which is why I can't listen to my own voice coming from the YoloBox, because it's delayed, and I can't hear my own voice delayed in my ear while I'm trying to talk. I'm just not capable of doing that. So that maintains the audio sync for me, and I don't have to think about it. If you are doing, as I said, 17 channels of audio for a big stage production, and they give you the audio from the mixer and you're coming into the line input, you're going to have to manually delay, and I'll show you that. You're going to have to manually delay. See, it doesn't show up here on the original YoloBox and the InStream. I think it shows you all of your sources. Here it doesn't show you until you plug something in. So I need to plug in, oh, here we go. We're going to plug in just a random microphone into the microphone port. And then down here, we'll see, now I have mic in. And down at the bottom, whoops, don't touch some other thing. Down at the bottom, you see it says delay. That is where you have to delay your analog audio coming into the YoloBox so that it matches with the delayed video that you're mixing. It's not, you know, each camera may have a slightly different bit of delay in the camera for processing and things like that, and converted to HDMI and coming over to here. And then in the YoloBox, there's delay. So it could be 1, 2, 3 frames. It could vary. So we are going to delay this. $60 seconds, 60 milliseconds. I am running at 30 frames a second. If you have 30 frames per second, each frame is 30 milliseconds, because 1,000 milliseconds is a second. 30 milliseconds is 1 frame. 60 milliseconds is 2 frames. So I'm delaying it 2 frames so that my analog audio will hopefully match. I'm not listening to it, so I can't really hear. But I could technically, at this point, I've got my mic in, and if I turned on my HDMI 1, if I have them both in, I could hear both signals at the same time, and that would actually be pretty cool. Let me do that. This is why I love live shows. We're going to give this a try. I'm going to plug my headphones into here. I am 1, 1, 1. Hello, 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 hello. 1. Oh, maybe this. Turn this on. It is working. Hello. 1, 2. Okay, now I can hear it. Hello. 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 Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2. Do, do, do. That would be really cool. Here, let's do this. Let us take the output of my Pro. I'm going to turn my mic off. Output of the Pro. And I'm going to turn the audio on. And hello. Hello. Okay. So you should be hearing, I can't listen to myself. You should be hearing the output of this device. So if I turn this off, if I turn this back on and this back on, now you can hear, I'm actually, overhead, I'm actually using the audio mixer in this demo model over to there. So if I turn off this, the audio will sound different when I have them both on versus when I don't have them on. And if I move the delay, hello, hello, you can hear the difference between the two different microphones. If I move the delay up, 1, 2, sounds pretty close. Let's go to 80. So that sounds pretty good there. If I go back here, you hear the difference in the delay. If I bring this up to 80, that sounds pretty good on the money. And that is how you can adjust your analog audio input to match your video. So that is a great demonstration of that. That we'll turn that off so that we don't have that audio passing through again, because that's going to be freaky if that accidentally happens. Let me make sure I'm getting my clean audio now from my direct microphone. Yep. All right. So that's the Pro. The Mini has the same thing. It's just that you have to toggle between, switching cameras, adjusting your audio or your graphics. You can't have multiple things on the screen at the same time. They're all down here in a row. And this interface is designed this way because it's a small screen. But technically, if you went like that with this one, you have the same interface with the Pro if you wanted to see the image bigger. And then you can hit the little make smaller button, and then you get your separate areas for switching cameras, for adjusting audio, and you can leave them separate, which is one of the things I really love about the Pro, is the fact that you have dedicated areas for different things. And I kind of wish there was a dedicated area for more content, and that would be even more beneficial, but there's only so much you can do in an 8-inch Android tablet. I had a guest through the YoloLiv invite. His sound was crackling. His network speed could be the only problem. No sound problem seems to be on his side. It can be a whole host of different things. Like, what was he using for his microphone? Was it the webcam? Does that webcam work when he uses Zoom or something else? So it's a clean connection into the computer and the computer properly recognizes it. Was the browser, try a different browser, because the remote guest connection is browser based and Zoom uses their app. The reason why they use their app is because they get some special sauce in the app. YoloLiv doesn't have an app, they use the browser. So you're dependent upon the browser handling the camera to internet connection. And if that browser is not happy, use a different browser. Like if I use Apple's Safari, that's usually not as good as if I use Chrome. And if Chrome is not happy, I'll try Firefox. Kent says, I enjoy your shows. Thank you for the information. I have the LiveU Pro and the YoloBox. What is your recommendation in using bonding through the LiveU or the YoloBox? LiveU is a very established product with more servers worldwide. And if you already have a LiveU, you can continue to leverage that end of it. Also, it puts less demand on what's being processed in here. So if it's not encoding and not recording in the YoloBox, it's doing less computing. So you should be able to like leverage more green screen, more titles and things like that, because there's only so much computing power in a device. Like on a computer, you'd be able to see how much of the CPU you're using. We can't see that on here, but remember, this is a tiny little Android tablet. It's only going to be able to do so much. So the more you could give to other devices like encoding or external recording, the less this box has to do, and the easier this can do what you do ask it to do. So bonding in the YoloBox is convenient for those who don't want to have to bring additional hardware. Because if you have the YoloBox Mini, I mean, this is a teeny little box. It fits in my hand. I can switch multiple, I can go to the sideline of a soccer game, plug in 2 cameras in here. I can record the show. I can do a scoreboard. I can bring in viewer comments, and I can do bonding between cellular, built-in cellular, and, well, I guess if I'm using the USB for, oh no, Wi-Fi. That's right, I got Wi-Fi. So I could do that, and then I could Wi-Fi hotspot to my cell phone, so I could use 2 different wireless networks. And so as the sidelines fill up with all the friends and family who are all on their phones, I can hopefully still get a signal through using 2 different networks, and I didn't have to bring anything extra. This is all I brought. So that is convenience. So that is a decision you would make for your needs. I understand that the YoloBox has bonding internal in the device. The LiveU is something that you would use. It depends. You know, you can give the bonding in the YoloBox a try. Cost-wise, you know, I don't know how it compares to the bonding on the LiveU. They both have a cost. Bonding has cost because you have to pay for the server to help you do the bonding. And for those who don't know what bonding is, I have my connection to the internet. But the YoloBox, all the YoloBoxes allow, not the original, allow you to have multiple connections to the internet. I can have a cellular connection, I can have an Ethernet connection, and I can have a Wi-Fi connection. Or I can even use the USB and have a second cellular connection. I can have 4 connections to the internet, and what it does is it sends out packets through all these different directions, you know. Now they're all traveling different paths. Some are going by boat, some are going by plane. So packets will arrive out of order. A server at the other end takes all these packets in and has to put them back in the correct order. So there's a computer somewhere, a really big computer taking in, you know, tons of streams. There's a big computer in a big rack with lots of power and hard drives and computing, and somebody has to set it up and cool it and power it. That all costs money. So bonding costs money. It's not free. If somebody says, oh, it's free bonding, how? Because nobody gives away free. There's always a cost. And it's up to you to say which services are giving you the most value for your money. You know, convenience is a value, or maybe robustness and more capability is a value. You know, it depends what works for you. So I can't recommend one over the other. Why do I hear different in headphone and in live stream sound different volume? Because they are different volumes. If we go back to, okay, we're looking over here. Here's my thing. Here's my headphone volume. I can turn my headphone volume down. That doesn't mean I'm turning the output going to the stream down. That's completely separate. You know, I can turn this all the way up and it can be super loud in my ears, blasting, but I'm not distorting on the output going to the stream. This is just a headphone volume. It has, you know, just like a regular audio mixer. The headphone has its own volume control. So the volume you hear in your headphones is not the volume you're sending to the audience. You would never want that. Because if you have really good headphones over your ears, you don't need it as loud as if, you know, you've got like, you know, very lightweight headphones. Or if it's a very quiet environment, maybe you don't want it super loud, but you need it loud for the audience. So the monitoring level is not tied to your broadcast level or your recording level, because that's the same. These sliders will bring down the microphone level. Now, I'll turn that off too. Now, if I bring down my input, you can see this is lower. Now, I could compensate and make my monitor level really loud. Sorry, I thought I was moving the monitor level, the headphone level. If I move my monitor level really loud, it could still sound loud, but realistically, my stream is really quiet. If I turn this really loud on my stream and it's super clipping, super loud, oh my goodness, but I turn my headphones down, it could sound quiet, but be totally distorting inside. So audio is a very challenging thing to master because you can't see it. You know, there's a little bouncing audio meter, but it's not telling you which one, you know. So that's why I did a video in my tech tips. Go to laptop. There is one specifically on audio, and 7 places that you can ruin your audio. 7. I mean, there could possibly be much more. I think I did a seminar talk and we found 11 different places. But there's 7 different places where you have to manage your audio levels properly to make sure that the people watching the stream get good levels, not too loud, not too quiet, not too much hiss, not too totally overmodulated and distorting, but really quiet. You know, there's all different places because each step is completely independent of the other steps. You could have something coming in so loud that it's here and clipping and distorted, and then, oh, that's really noisy, and then you turn it down. Well, that doesn't change the fact that it's still coming in too loud. It's still distorting. You just made the distorting quieter. And then later somebody says, well, I can't really hear it very well. It sounds distorted, but let me try turning it up. Now they're turning up the quiet, hissy audio that was low. You know, it's just so easy to get confused in managing every single step of the way. That's why I created a video just about all the different places that you have to pay attention, all the different steps. Today's show, we're talking specifically about mixing in the YoloBox, but there's, you know, because microphones can have gain on the microphone, then the receiver can have an output volume, and then you've got the input level. Do you plug it into the line or the mic? And then you get the input level setting trim, and then you've got the program level setting trim. There's all these different places where things can go wrong and the audio can be made to sound less than perfect. My name is Anthony Barocas, and I will look forward to seeing you next week.